Hello, I'm filming from my conservatory today because I'm talking about bricks and sticks, and we've got some bricks behind us. It's going to be fine as long as it doesn't rain. If it rains, you're not going to be able to hear me. So I'm talking about my experience of selling my property. Now, it's a shared ownership property. If you don't know what that is, it just means that I only own a percentage of it, and the housing association and the mortgage company own the rest. I think the minimum you can own is 25% and the maximum you can own is 75%. It's a really good way of affording property, but it does have its downfalls, and selling is one of them. So with a shared ownership property, it's on leasehold. For my house started at 99 years. So I decided to sell this house in March of this year. Well, I did want to do that before, but that's when I made the final decision. I was selling in March this year. So I roped a friend in to help, and we did some painting together, and I sorted out the garden. The next step was to get a RICS survey, Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, to come round and value the property and say what it should be sold for. So that's where it differs from a normal sale where the estate agent gives you a valuation. This is the actual surveyor that gives you the valuation. And the housing association go by that valuation. And I took some nice photos of the house and I sent those off with the report and the energy rating report to the housing association, because with shared ownership you sell it through the housing association, or you have to put it on their website for so many weeks. I think it's 6 weeks before you can sell it on the open market. But the housing association came back to me and said because the lease was less than 85 years, my best bet would be to sell it on the open market, so I didn't have to list it on their website. So I got an estate agent round, and even though they gave me a valuation, because I already had the RIC survey, they had to put it on the market for that amount. I went with purple bricks because they were the cheapest. I had to pay them up front. That was £895, I think, round about that. And for that they took professional photographs and they listed the property online. There were higher tiers that I could go for, like having the estate agent show the buyers round and everything, but I decided to do that all myself. Once the house was on the market, then it was all systems go. I had 10 prospective buyers come round, I think. So one buyer came round, he seemed very interested. He asked lots of questions about electric vehicles and whether there would be anywhere to plug them in. I didn't know anything about that. But he also said he really liked the house, but he didn't like the fact that the living room and the main bedroom weren't square, which I thought was a bit weird because it shows you the plan that the living room and the bedroom aren't square. There. What's that shape? Rhombus? Equilateral? Okay. A four-sided shape that's not square, that doesn't have right angles. I don't know. Okay, anyway, so the house sold in a week. There were 10 prospective buyers that came round, and I had an offer on the following Friday. Now the problem was the offer was less than the asking price, and because it's shared ownership, you can't just accept the offer. You have to go back to the housing association. So I couldn't do anything because it was Friday afternoon. So I had to wait till the Monday, and in the meantime the buyer wanted to come back around, but he'd already put the offer in, so I didn't really see why he wanted to come back around. So I just put him off to the following week, because I think he wanted to negotiate with me, but I couldn't negotiate with him. Though I think that's what he wanted to come around for. Because normally, if that was me, I would go and see a property once, then I'd see a property again, and then I'd put the offer in. I wouldn't go once, put the offer in, and then go again before the offer was accepted. But that's just me. So the house went on the market on the Friday. I had 10 prospective buyers come round and view the property, and then I got an offer on the following Friday, so a week later, which is really good. The problem was the offer was for £10,000 less than the house was on the market for, so I couldn't accept that. I went back to him and I said, I can't accept that because it's housing association, it has to be sold at the price of the RICS survey. So he then said, okay, I'll offer you the full amount, but can I have £5,000 cash back? And I'm thinking, wow, if I give him £5,000 cash back, that's going to come out of my money. It's not going to come out of the housing association money, so I'll be down on my money. And because I'm going to be using this money to live off of and possibly purchase a boat or a van and travel the world with, I need every penny. So I said, and I actually didn't know if that was something I was allowed to do, because I've not heard of that. I know that housing builders do that, don't they? They will sell you a house at a certain price, but then give you cash back. But I don't know if I could do that. So it was late Friday afternoon. I couldn't get any answers, so I had to wait till the Monday. And I phoned the housing association and I said, I told them what he'd offered, and they said, oh no, you can't do that. So I said, okay. And they said, oh, but all you need to do is phone the surveyor again and ask them to drop the price. So that's what I did. But then she was on holiday, so I had to wait a couple of days for that. But I just assumed that it'd be fine, so I accepted the offer. And it was just £5,000 less than the asking price. So I accepted the offer anyway. And when she got back off holiday, then she said, yeah, that's no problem, she said, and she sent a new report with the new price on. So then I had to instruct my solicitor and instruct the housing association so they could instruct their solicitor and fill out a bunch of boring forms. I accepted the offer on the 3rd of July. It is now the, I actually have no idea, 18th of October, and it is now 15 weeks later. Now the estate agent did tell me it would take between an average of 12 to 14 weeks. Now I don't understand that, because back in the day when I've bought houses before, nothing to do with shared ownership, you could complete in 6 weeks. The average was 6 weeks. And some people even did it in 2 weeks. But in the age of the internet, it takes 12 to 14 weeks. And there's no chain, there's just my buyer and me. And my buyer is a landlord, so he's going to be renting it out anyway. So I don't really understand why it takes so long. Has it been stressful? No, not really. There's been a couple of things. I've had to get another RICS survey because they're only valid for 3 months. So if they're only valid for 3 months and it takes an average of 12 to 14 weeks to sell the property, that doesn't really work. So you have to get an extension, which is another £90. I think the survey in the first place cost £395. So then there was another £90 on top of that. And that is valid until January. So that is my selling process. I'm hoping that the house completes in the next couple of weeks, but I actually have no idea. And I know you guys in America, it's a lot quicker, but in the UK, that's how long it takes nowadays. Thank you for the love that you've shown me so far. I love you guys back. And if there's anything you'd like me to make a video on with regard to my journey, then comment down below. The videos will get more interesting once the house sale has completed and I've got the cash to go and do other things. Bye for now.